Hey everybody, Pete Blank here for this week's edition of Pete's Points in Washington, D.C. with my smoking hot wife, where we just spent some time inside the National Portrait Gallery, part of the Smithsonian museums here. We walked around, we wanted to see the portraits in the National Portrait Gallery of all of the former presidents. Well, what in the world does that have to do with you as a leader? Well, I want to talk to you today about interpretation, and specifically about leadership interpretation. We weren't allowed to take video inside, but we could take pictures. So take a look over my shoulder here of President George Washington. The neat thing about this portrait was people were looking at it and interpreting it. What does his sword mean? What do these books mean at the bottom? And you heard a tour guide and some people sharing their interpretation of the portrait. Here's one of President Abraham Lincoln, and you can see that there's a lot going on in his portrait as well. Lots of stuff about George Washington. There's a globe over there. What does it mean to have this constitutional amendment document? And there's lots of talk and interpretation. Here's one of President Barack Obama. Again, a little more contemporary style, but people were interpreting, well, what do the flowers mean? And what do the colors mean? And what does everything represent? Here's my point. It's okay to interpret a portrait and look at things that you want to kind of, maybe it means this. You don't want people trying to interpret your leadership style. Well, he might be a people person. She might be more process driven. Well, I think because they wear a suit, it means they're this type of leader. Actually, no, I can interpret their leadership style as familial or friendly. You need to make sure you know, this is my leadership style. This is the way I present. And you don't want it up for interpretation. If it does, you may end up not being successful as a leader and might just see yourself not out there doing great things for your organization. But I will say this, have a strong leadership style and make sure that if you do want something up for interpretation, make it your portrait and not your leadership style. That's all from the Smithsonian. We'll see you next time on Pete's Points.